No.
If you see a beautiful blue-haired boy and his kitty cat out in the snow, then that means we're live. We're playing some Monster Hunter Iceborne, Osprey on the sticks with the cameraman behind him. Osprey, I guess you want to start us off? I think you got maybe the most entertaining update.
Yeah, so, my ankle's doing okay-ish. I'm gonna see how it feels after the adrenaline of rushing down the stairs as safely as I could, goes. So basically, at work, I was on my lunch break, and to take my lunch break, I go up the stairs. And the area the break room is in is kind of open, so we can kind of hear some of what's going on out on the main floor. And over the headset, I hear, "Hey, could we get some help out front? Or we need some help out front." And some of us were trying to figure out what was going on. And then all of a sudden, I hear loud cussing and yelling and like just general like yelling.
Mayhem.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I hear the sound of bottles breaking, which when you work in a store with alcohol is terrifying. Well, any store with lots of glass, but I want to say most of our stuff is in glass bottles. So I rush downstairs as quickly as I can, as safely as I can. And turns out some guy had come in, tried to steal something. My coworkers wouldn't let him steal it, so he got upset. And then started we have some mini bottles that are out kind of in the middle of the area, and he starts sweeping his arm across them to just start knocking them all onto the floor. And it was, so I go down, I see the bottles, and at that point I think they'd already gotten him to leave. But so I just grabbed a wet floor sign and the mop and started helping with cleanup for that. And then a little bit later, a couple accidentally dropped a 6-pack of beer, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, you're good. You didn't come in, try to punch one of my coworkers, and start knocking bottles on the floor. You're good." I didn't say that, but that was what was going through my head. Also,
Yeah, I have never had to deal with a potentially dangerous customer situation, so
yeah,
that is
we think he was on some, from what I understand, according to my coworkers, he was on something. He was not in his right state of mind. Also, yes, hi, hello, how are you today? Hello and happy MLK Day. I also see Guns Pony. Hi, Guns Pony. Yeah, angry customers can be scary. Most of our customers are pretty chill. It's just that one guy decided to come in, and then we found out afterwards that he had been in the parking lot, just cussing out random people and whatnot before he even came in.
Yeesh. Yeah, happy Martin Luther King Day, everyone. I hope, you took some time to reflect. I did a little bit of light reading this morning, just going through some of his speeches and stuff. And then a author that I very much enjoy wrote an article about him back in 2019 or something. So I posted that on the Discord. Caitlin Bird is her name, and yeah, it was. Other than that, I didn't do much. I didn't have to work today.
Yeah, we had a lot of customers coming in today being like, "Yeah, I'm taking advantage of the 3-day weekend to just kind of get some errands done while traffic's low."
Yeah, catch up on stuff.
That explains why Kroger was so busy today. I have never had MLK Day off at a job, I don't think. Maybe.
I definitely didn't have it off.
Oh,
what else? Oh, you go ahead.
I did learn something interesting yesterday.
Just in case my quest is open, by the way. I think it should be anyway.
Oh yeah,
I've
been waiting. So I just saw it flipped. You got to see that cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
That sweet Barryoth cutscene, which I guess in terms of what we're doing tonight, so Razor has, I mean, in what I would consider a pretty heroic effort, in like 4 or 5 days, grinded himself up to master rank. Um, so yeah, he's not that far behind where Osprey is. So we're gonna be doing today. We're gonna be doing some chiller hunting. Osprey is gonna get to enjoy going back and getting some.
For last slot, or do you want to? Who wants the last
Oh,
slot?
Are you? If you're in the lobby, go ahead and take it. I'm building some wide range stuff.
Yeah. We're doing some. We're not going to be pushing the envelope so hard. At some point tonight, we'll do a seething basil goose. I think maybe I don't know what's next. But the rest of the stuff that's on the thumbnail already came true last week, so we'll just take credit for it.
So I did learn something about the Jack Daniels brand of whiskey. And I promise this is relevant to today to a certain extent. Turns out, the guy who actually taught Jack Daniels how to distill was a slave before the 13th Amendment.
Yeah.
And then after the 13th Amendment, and he was freed, Jack Daniels actually hired him to be his master distiller. Because as far as from what I understand,
to clarify, I don't think Jack Daniel didn't own him.
Yeah, from what I understand, he didn't
was not
own
a
any
slave
slaves.
owner.
He just he was related to a slave owner, I think, and that's how they met originally.
Yeah.
And that's when he learned how to distill from Nathan Nearest Green, also known as Nearest Green. And basically, from what I understand, there was an author, and she went around and did the digging on this because some of this information got lost. And she specifically emphasized that Jack Daniels never owned any slaves, and when he hired black people for his distillery, he actually paid them the same as his white employees.
Yeah, I knew just the barest details that Jack Daniels learned the craft from a black master distiller, but I didn't know the rest of it. That's really neat.
Yeah, and so there actually ended up being a line of whiskey made in honor of this guy's contribution called, I think it was called Uncle Nearest. And the author, I'm trying to remember her name. There were lots of names in the video I was watching. But she actually was the person who helped develop that line. Like, not in the distilling sense, but she helped put together the project.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I dig it.
Like, she spent years working on this, and I want to find her name again, it's just I'm blanking on it at the moment.
Hi, Henderson. Henderson's in chat.
No.
Hi, Henderson.
Uh-oh, how is Cameron an evil
Hello.
DM?
I like to use the phrase firm but fair, and I have now graduated. I am no longer a dungeon master. I am a game master. I run more than just Dungeons and Dragons TM.
That's fair.
I like how you included the TM. You know, just throwing OGL shit.
I guess I'm trying to think. We didn't really talk. Did we talk about that last stream?
We did.
Don't. Oh, we did?
I think we did.
We
Okay.
talked about it a little bit.
I mean, it's still relevant. Like, I think about it at least like once a day now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The good news is we are prepping the Discord community for an increased diversity of gaming options. So keep an eye out. If we're still going to be running Dungeons and Dragons, I firmly believe that just because the holding company is doing something shitty doesn't mean that it erases the value of the books and resources you've already purchased. But I do stand in solidarity with everyone who has been canceling their D&D Beyond subscriptions.
I forgot to do that. I
mine-
got distracted.
They're
Oh, no,
gonna
you're
start
fine.
making NFTs for D&D. Watch.
Oh, I'm sure they are. They made one for Transformers a while ago, and I made a video like roasting Hasbro about that shit. And then I mysteriously wasn't included in like the last set of previews for Transformers cards. I wonder why that happened.
Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like my D&D Beyond subscription was canceled, so as of August we'll figure out another alternate. But it seems like people are already like prepared with some decent alternatives.
Yeah.
If you want to keep playing D&D without paying the subscription, and then if you want to play other systems, we've been having a lot of fun. Now that I'm playing non-D&D systems and not official modules, I have very much found the value in Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I'm going to be running a Pathfinder game to help teach other game masters Pathfinder. So we can have a couple different people on the Discord that'll be hopefully running Pathfinder games. I do Cyberpunk via Pathfinder.
Oh, yes. Favorite part of insect in this game. Mounting.
I'm also planning on possibly, we'll see on where my life is after my next doctor's appointment.
Yeah.
But I'm considering running a one-shot for Pathfinder. Not because I tend to GM, but just because I want to help more people get a feel for the game. Because there are things I prefer about Pathfinder, as opposed to D&D, and I'm trying to decide what if some of my frustration with D&D is transference from the whole OGL thing, or if it was stuff I was already kind of getting frustrated with.
Just in the game.
Well, and like some of how the latest rulebooks are, like Spelljammer, the fact that they didn't include certain mechanics was just kind of like, it feels like the book's unfinished, and then the whole Hadzi shenanigan BS that Wizards pulled, and they were like, we don't know how this happened and how this racially insensitive stuff got through, and it's like, They never did say how they were going to fix it so it didn't happen again. At least, not that I recall.
I think a lot of it's also kind of been baked in since the 70s, 80s era of D&D too. Whether it's intentional or not, I think a lot of that has been there for a while, and people were just now pointing it out. So when they tried to like iterate on it for newer stuff, they kind of realized like, hey, you ever think maybe like where goblins and orcs come from and where they're treated as kind of the based on some stereotypes in real life?
What's this
yeah,
about?
And Pathfinder's second edition having a like, it seems like it's a pretty clean system revisement from first edition Pathfinder. So they had the opportunity, it looks like, to clean up a lot of stuff. Cheryl, come on. Okay. Yes.
I mean,
So,
the rules of the Discord say that I can't kill kids on screen, but I'm running a Barovia campaign with Strahd, so you know why Strahd's going to be munching on kids off screen. Yes.
I was trying to get my potion drink, and then I got hit into a corner and couldn't get out.
Yeah, Barioth is evil.
I've been trying to stun it, but it won't work.
And I haven't even killed a kid off screen. The kid's just in trouble. Your heroes rescued the kid.
And then you have the most heartless bastard that just says, fuck it, and just leaves them behind.
I do want to say on the Pathfinder thing, there are a few
Yes.
things that Pathfinder does that I really like as far as how they do books. They seem to have some, like, specialized, like, books that kind of help you, like, build a kind of focused character. So kind of like Fizzbands. I really liked how Fizzbands was, like, the book you pick up if you want to do a Draconic-related character. If I recall correctly, Pathfinder does that a bit more.
That is what I found. I'll admit, from my personal, I struggled a little bit going through the Pathfinder like collection to figure out what's. I haven't bought any books yet. The one really nice thing about Pathfinder is there's an official website called Archives of Nethys that I think has like just every official Pathfinder book on that site available for people to check out, which is really neat.
Yeah.
It's kind of like 5e tools but official and
Yeah, I
has
like
more
that a lot.
stuff.
And another thing I like is when they do adventure paths, they have a guide thing for the players being like, here's kind of the characters that will help tie in the most thematic. Like,
Yeah.
this background will be really cool, this language will be useful, that sort of thing. I love that sort of cue because I have so many ideas. I could pick pretty much anything, but is it going to resonate well with the story? But I don't want to have to get spoilers for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that is neat. I'm excited to at some point run an official Pathfinder adventure path and compare it to like Rime of the Frost Maiden or the Domains of Dread that I did in D&D. I am a little like the catalog and how things are broken up is a little confusing, but I'm excited to check it out. We're gonna do essentially the adventure that you and I played like 75% of Osprey. I'm gonna run that for the core arbitrary hero
we never
group.
did finish that, did we? Or
No,
what's it called? The one, the other.
Menace
something
under
up top.
Otari.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
So my plan is to run that, and then between Tom, Nate, and Tanner, and Hannah, and hopefully Danny, then we'll have like everyone covered in terms of being able to run new stuff, Pathfinder stuff on the Discord. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm also going to be finding a way for the Atomic Fox to get a chance to try out Pathfinder, because she's interested in trying out running that.
Yeah, if there's enough people, I'd be down to like. So this will be happening in February. I could do basically that same thing again in March for like another group of 4 or 5.
Yeah, and
I'd be open to that, and that way, like I'll be familiar enough at that point to hopefully like not be like fumbling my way through it. That's part of the reason this first group is like
yeah.
everyone that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fuck a lot of shit up. So
yeah, we're used to that.
Yeah,
Oh, hi, Nate.
We'll get
Nate's here.
miserably trudge our way through this one, and then people that other people on the Discord can have the better experience.
Whoever keeps throwing flashbangs, after 1 or 2 flashbangs, just stops being.
Yeah, they're immune. They build up an
5 minutes,
immunity.
10 minutes.
Well, we got that tail cut. Hey, Nate.
Hey guys.
So, Cheryl was here, so we were talking about D&D stuff. Actually, Henderson's in the chat. Henderson
right on.
and I and Hannah and how many women is that? 2 women, 3 other women. We've got a ladies' lunch Sunday D&D game going now.
Oh, that's cool.
Where I'm running Dragon of Icefire Peak as a kind of beginner-friendly module. And yeah, we had our session 0, did character creation stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think it went pretty well. Henderson, let me know if you've got feedback. Go ahead and put me on blast in chat. I can
Quit
take
saying Hannah hates the Chinese.
it.
That's just in the D&D
Every
books. I don't
time
know
I
if you
see a
ever- I
turf
don't know.
war in these games, never mind. Keep going. I'll say it later.
No, the Barrioth Banborough turf war.
Yeah, every time I see a turf war, I'm just like I'm like I wish I could see this game for the first time. The first time I saw these, I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's still every time it's good. I should drink another hot drink.
Hey, David.
Hey David, how's it
What
going?
is happening?
Hello.
Yeah, so if you're we have implemented a new rule as of this live stream. If you're not playing Monster Hunter with us during the live stream, then we're asking you to join us in the Twitch chat versus voice chat just to keep the number of voices down on stream. But once again, we've got a pretty full lobby, which is exciting.
Yeah, we're at like 6 right now. That's pretty good.
It feels like there's recently been a pretty good uptick in people coming back to Iceborne. I guess a lot of people kind of got through the title
a good
update
game.
3 content.
It's
Yeah.
a good game.
It's because it's a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It snuck up on me. I played a lot of stuff this weekend, and I guess because it's a long weekend, it didn't feel like a lot.
Yeah.
So Friday, Nate, you were.
I was in your game.
Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't planned, but it turned out to. I felt like a pretty cool conversation. You want to talk about what your character, who they were, and what they did?
Oh, well, yeah, I've never really played much of an investigator character, so I decided to do a warlock build based on sort of like an investigator inspector person. I've never been like, at least, definitely, I've never not had a combatively oriented character or even support.
non-competitive.
Yeah, but yeah, I've never been really one to RP solely or, and do exploration solely. And this was my first attempt at that. It was fun.
Nice.
We did it. We ran a one-shot adventure, I think, right? It was for your Dominions of Dread.
It's basically I'm running like these the final one shots. They're not super connected to
Like
the,
epilogue style.
Yeah. It's just like, what do they do now?
Yeah.
It's my opportunity to like the characters save the world. Now I can kill them.
Right. Yeah. Now no one's safe. Your purpose has been fulfilled.
Good thing I've got 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But honestly, you guys kind of ran the town on this one.
Yeah, we kind of bulldozed through a lot of stuff. It felt like, but I don't know. I think it's just because I think some of our characters were pretty well equipped. Just happened to have the right kind of items. But with the like the Sunblade and whatever doing
The
what
Sunblade made a huge difference. So
Yeah.
this Nate and Andrew, not Andrew, Nate and Nathan.
Yes, that's
Oh,
not
yeah.
confusing at all.
Not at all.
You were in the party, and it was basically an opportunity. Like part of this epilogue is like finding a permanent way out of the domains of dread, if that's possible. So we got to visit the Prime Material Plane, but every time you all go to the Prime Material Plane, for some reason, something from Bluet Spur comes out after you.
Yeah.
And this time, it was Nate's playing a Warlock character. It was his Warlock patron.
Oh dear.
Which I've always wanted to do.
It's always weird to see the boss outside the office.
Yeah, that confrontation between a Warlock and their patron.
Here we go.
And it was kind of everything I wanted. Like it was awesome. She was like whooping up on y'all until the Sunblade came out.
Yeah, seriously.
Correction, and the jabbering mouse, or whatever the hell you want to call him. were
Razor
kicking
was there
asses.
too. I forgot.
Everyone's a gangster till the Sunblade comes out.
Yeah. That was Friday.
Yeah, we had people throwing the
Saturday-
ceilings. We had people throwing explosions. All those people were the same dude doing all that. It's fun.
Yeah. Saturday, we did Transformers Session 0. And Razor Beast and Osprey, you were both there for that one.
Yep.
Razor Beast, I guess, I want to ask Osprey first, and then Razor Beast, I want to get your thoughts now that you've gone through it the second time around. So Osprey, now that you've done character, which we haven't finished all the way character creation, but now that you've had some time to like let it percolate in your brain, how are you feeling about things?
I'm trying to decide how I feel. I think some of it's going to come down to some of these details. How do they actually interact in play? Because if they don't interact well in play, it'll feel like a lot of work for nothing. Especially with some of the equipment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, but is this actually going to be important? And if it isn't important, why did I bother? But if it is
why did we
important,
spend that much time on it?
yeah. But if it is important, I'll be like, okay, that could have been handled a little more gracefully, but I'm not going to be super picky.
Yeah. Now that I've gone through character creation twice, from my perspective, it's helped me notice how much of the book is unfortunately like just sloppily put together. And I don't know what the business like requirements were. Like when Renegade got the licenses for these 4 properties from Hasbro, was Hasbro like, okay, you have to put things out within 1 year. It feels like they just didn't have enough time to proof stuff or things like that. Like it's very weird to me it makes intuitive sense for the chapters of the book to follow the character creation steps. But like when we were following the chapters, we realized towards the end it's like, oh shit, essence scores were step 2, but that's chapter 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like out of order.
Yeah.
Ow.
Razor, what about you?
The first time around felt a lot better than the second time around, and I don't know why. I think it's because of what character I was trying to make. The first time it was really simple to get the character I wanted. The second time it felt really hard to get the character I wanted. And it's just there's so many rules restricting you, but I think it's just because they made Transformers a level-based game, and it's just like trying to match that level up RPG with what you're like thinking of Transformers is.
Yes, Nate and Tom, for your and Nathan, from your perspective, the system is designed to be balanced so that if you have a party that consists of a G.I. Joe, a Power Ranger, a Transformer, and a My Little Pony, everyone can work together. But as a result, to me, that makes the Transformer not feel like a Transformer, because they should have like 10 times, like they should be a boss character versus the the humans.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, Transformers are essentially the Zords.
Yeah,
In
About
some
the size
ways.
of that. Some
yeah,
of them
it's
are.
interesting that like I don't know how My Little Pony fits into there, but maybe if it's like every G.I. Joe got a tank and every Power Ranger got a Zord, then
Or at least a
balance
motorcycle.
then balance the Transformers against like that more than like the human side, because it's
Yeah.
like you can build a Transformer and they'll have 2 hit points at the end of it, and that's like not unusual. That's like, okay, but the G.I. Joe weapons still do a damage.
Crack. Oh, bye.
I'm gone.
Ah,
Peace. I thought I was taking him with me. I forgot that he can just fly off.
yeah.
Ooh, Viper Toby Kadachi.
At least it's not a cart, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've almost got him down. So that was Saturday. Then Saturday night, I went out with the cousins. We tore up the town. It was a lot of fun. And then Sunday was the first session 0 for Dragon Rise Spire Peak. And then Nate, we did a little bit of Waterdeep. Just one episode.
Yeah, just
it was
one.
a short one.
It was we got to see Half Day Cameron.
Yeah. much chiller dude.
Yeah, only half day worth of work. It's all good, man.
I did edit that episode today, and I
did you?
realized Half Day Cameron like doesn't try and wrangle cats nearly as strongly.
No,
so like
not-
they're
He's an idiot.
I cut out like 15 minutes straight of just you, Shuri, and Ian like arguing about what to do next, because like I
She
was
was
watching
just,
the
like,
footage
Vehemently
and I'm just,
against us going in that
like,
room.
drinking my tea.
I'm like, since when?
Yes. In editing, going back and noting, Shuri's playstyle, I think, is not super suited for like a heroic type campaign. I don't know, like
Maybe
after
she's
this,
not
if
playing
she's
that
gonna
kind
be.
of character.
Yeah, I don't know if she'd be interested in a different RPG system. But I wonder.
Probably Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's literally what I was thinking. Like
Yeah, I
Call of
figured.
Cthulhu or Shadow Dark.
Yeah, she's more of a survivor kind of style, maybe.
Yeah.
But part of me thinks she just has this character in mind, and they happen to play like that.
Too far
Oh, yeah.
back. Go,
I say we're already on Lish on this thing.
What are you guys hunting right now?
You're too far back.
Very
Cameron.
off.
You miss, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure. Never
Ah!
mind.
Eat shit! Eat shit!
Great sword players trying to critique each other. aggressively.
So
David,
David,
has feelings about
Yeah.
crossovers. You see that too, Osprey?
yeah, I
So
saw that
someone
too.
will ask for a photo. I mean, I think it's all in good fun. They've done it before. The system, as the way I've played it, is very Saturday morning cartoons, David. it's like it's all like just nonsense, and like if you embrace it, I think it'll be fun. It's definitely I've gotten a lot of feedback from like in the RPG like Discord for the Transformers that a lot of players have been really disappointed because they're wanting more of like serious Transformers, like IDW style storylines and political factions and that sort of stuff, and the game is definitely not suited for that. But like the beginner one shot is like, go save the humans on the bridge that are getting attacked by Decepticons. It's like that sort of like just Saturday morning cartoon nonsense.
G1. I think that's G1.
What? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some of
very
those.
much that like
They're great.
it's not like literally a G1 episode, but it's that feel.
Yeah.
For sure.
I actually saw the one where, I don't remember which Transformer, decided he was in love with a mermaid?
Sea Spray.
Sea Spray.
I'm so not surprised you know that.
Sea Spray and Power Glide. Okay, Henderson, we were talking about Riz earlier. Here are my top 5 Transformers.
Oh boy.
By the amount of Riz that they can throw around. Number 5. Surprisingly, Starscream.
I hate Starscream.
Is especially Prime Starscream is a Nate. He's got that Steve Bloom voice. He's rocking the high heels.
Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom
Are you
voice.
fucking kidding me? If we're talking like 80s cartoon Starscream, which is like the only one I know, I wouldn't call that a Steve Bloom voice.
No. Transformers Prime Starscream is literally voiced by Steve Bloom.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Oh, well, never mind.
Like,
I don't know
you're
how
not-
you describe Steve.
Your
Bloom,
memory is
but
not
it's
inaccurate,
Steve
Tom.
Bloom.
I agree with you. That a voice actor is definitely not. But yeah. Steve Bloom.
Yeah.
I don't think he
Starscream
was
is
a big enough
probably-
name.
Soundwave is number 4.
Soundwave
Doesn't
is
he
awesome.
never talk though?
Soundwave superior, me inferior. Yes, daddy.
Oh my god.
Coming in at number 3. In my mind, it's a collective. There's Bruticus, who is a collection of 5 Transformers put together.
Oh, I
but
loved him in
2
the
of them-
Fast and Furious movies.
2 of them are in love with each other, and they make it everyone else's problem, and it's so wonderful. And then I think, number 2, number 3, Sea Spray, number 2. He does get a surprising number of alien and like fantastical creature girls, but the number 1. I'm torn. Honorary mention before I go to number 1. Honorary mention is Skids in the G1 cartoon. There was an episode where Skids got addicted to having a human girl like just wash him all the time.
Oh dear.
And they absolutely like the writers knew what they were doing there.
Was it like super sudsy?
Yeah, super sudsy, like the Daisy Dukes and everything.
Oh my god.
But number 1 is Power Glide. Power Glide is the only Transformer that I know of
Oh my
that
God.
made a human woman fall in love with him.
Power Glide. That's
Yes.
his name.
Power Glide is
subtlety.
Mr. Transformers Riz.
I can't believe they called it Power Glide.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mr. Steal Your Girl and Take Her to Cybertron.
Yeah. Listen, if he's 40 feet tall and turns into an A10 Warhog, you should be worried.
Hello, Ninja Bill.
Hey, Ninja Bill, how's it going?
What's up, Ninja
okay,
Bill?
Ninja Bill, back me up on this.
Oh no.
Transformer most likely to steal your girl. Who's the Transformer most likely to steal your girl?
Oh, good.
Although I'm
Wheeljack.
sure we're not going to agree on who it is.
How
Wheeljack.
come so many guys on Tinder have profile pictures of them in military equipment? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I feel like Wheeljack would get a lot of them.
I think Wheeljack gets a lot of divorced moms.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I feel
Oh,
like
that reminds me. I totally forgot. Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime. I mean, they're not like dating, but he's like. Do you remember the episode where like Jack's mom is like showing up and she's got her makeup on and she's like really disappointed that Optimus Prime just isn't on the base?
I don't remember that. No.
Such a funny show.
Oh dear.
But yeah, Wheeljack does have a pretty baller stash.
Wow, Ninja Bill said tracks or Powerglide.
Hey!
Validation. Oh my god.
Ninja Bill, I didn't say tracks, but I did say Powerglide. Woo!
Holy shit.
The whole
Cameron, are
fandom
you
knows
okay?
It just feels good.
I put the clip of our recent hunt in the Monster Hunter chat.
The only G1 Transformers show I ever watched was one that was recorded either by my dad or my brother. I can't remember who recorded it. But it was an episode of where Starscream stole some Energon and made his own Transformers. It was awesome.
Oh, I'm trying to think.
And then he made like the group that actually went after Devastator. I think that they were able to go together. That was always my favorite part of Transformers when they ever
Combined.
Yeah.
So you just like Megazords in your Transformers cereal.
Yep.
The Transformers, like Power Rangers, does not have the fucking copyright on combining robots. And going back to the Transformers
Voltron
role-playing
does.
game, one of the bigger disappointing parts of that rule set is that there's in the core rule book there's no rules for combining, which seems like a real big miss. Yeah.
I haven't seen combining yet. I don't.
It'd
think
be really hard to role play that out.
Osprey, you've been watching Earthspark mostly, right? Did you
Yeah.
watch any Cyberverse?
I watched the first season, part of the second.
Gotcha. I feel like there's a combiner. Oh no, I'm thinking of Robots in Disguise 2015. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right. I don't know that there was a combiner in Cyberverse.
So like, if they've seen what I've seen, they wouldn't necessarily know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've seen Tracks yet either.
Yeah. Okay, Ninja Bill. Trax is really, really good looking. He's shit. I'm not streaming, so I don't have a camera that I can point out my Trax figure. He's really good looking. Like he's a hot red. He's a Corvette, like the old style, right?
The 68.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
No, I gotta
that.
do an investigation quest. No, expedition quest.
We can
In
wait
that
for
case, Osprey, do you want to? We can wait, or if we want to hunt something else while we're waiting.
Yeah, I'm just doing Guiding Lands right now, but yeah, we can do whatever.
Is Guiding Lands after? Which one's Guiding Lands? Is that?
Guiding
It's
Lands is
post-game
post-story.
stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which one's Powerglide? I don't think I know Powerglide yet.
Powerglide is both Trax and Powerglide are not super commonly reused Transformers. Powerglide is an Autobot. He was one of the what do they call them? Mini-bots. He's like a much smaller than normal Transformers, but he turns into an A10 Thunderbolt.
Okay. I will have to look those up and see how much I would consider them likely to win people over.
Yeah. There's a specific episode that everyone thinks about when thinking about Powerglide. It's literally called "The Girl Who Loved Powerglide."
I will have to ask my housemate if they've.
Oh, they'll have it. Yeah. they'll know what I'm talking about. Before you do that, ask them which one they think is most likely.
The pull.
Yeah.
Henderson says Trax is putting the Riz on cam without doing a thing.
Yeah.
So, wait,
Yeah.
Is it bot mode or what are the modes called?
So alt mode, his alt mode is a Corvette, but he also can turn into a flying car. Trax is, but also Trax is like, yes, beautiful car, but and like cool robot mode, but to me not like Powerglide is smooth. Trax is not smooth.
Is he like a himbo or what?
He's like kind of an obnoxious asshole.
So
He's like just very obsessed with how pretty he is how I remember Trax.
how do you want me to word it when I ask my housemate which one has the most quote-unquote
Which
riz?
Transformer has the most Riz?
Which
Okay.
Transformer can get it?
Yeah.
When you first said that, Cameron, I thought Riz was another Transformer.
Right,
For like a
David.
split second, my
wow.
brain was like, "Who the hell's Riz?"
Which Transformer can get it is a different question, though. I have different
Yeah.
rules on that. RC, like Prime RC, got no Riz, but she can get it. Tragic backstory.
It's happening tonight.
Yeah.
No clue.
Black Arachnia, I mean, she's literally a femme fatale, and I always feel like I can fix her.
Cameron,
Yeah.
did you learn a lot after school, like
Yeah.
watching these cartoons or something? Learn a lot
Yeah,
about
yeah.
yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Cameron just likes her because she got that dump truck thorax.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Although, it would be a toxic relationship.
I don't know how to think of Transformers in the way of which one can get it. Like, my brain can't
Honestly,
wrap
it's better
around
not
that
to.
concept. My brain just does not know how to make that work.
Think Posh. Yeah, Ninja Bill. Posh is a good way to talk about Trax. Maybe the other way is which Transformer. These are giant, right, mechanized behemoth machines. Out of these ones, which is the best cuddler?
None of them, because none of them are
Right.
soft.
Well, I mean, if they got a good leather interior,
Yeah.
they might be.
Plus, there's more to cuddling than just physical, like, contact. You want someone that, like, is comforting, a comforting presence to me, at least to me, right? You want someone who knows what they're doing. It's not just like, because I guess you could cuddle a teddy bear, but if you're
Yeah,
cuddling
I
people,
do. I do cuddle teddy bears. Teddy bears
Fair
are
enough.
cuddly.
Uh-huh.
They're soft. That's like the ideal part of cuddling is the soft snuggle.
Henderson, I've never seen a single minute of anything to do with Transformers, so their respective Riz levels are also lost on me. Honestly, like, you're fine. If you ever are curious, my advice would just be don't watch the Michael Bay movies. Go
Yeah.
watch, like, either the Bumblebee movie, or if you're curious about Transformers, the new Transformer show is a lot of fun, and it's only 10 episodes. Henderson, I'm with you there, girl.
Yeah, like I did not know about certain things. Like I think I saw the first one. I never watched the others, and then I heard something about them talking about the Romeo and Juliet laws, and I was like, that has no place being
Yeah.
in a Transformers movie.
That's just Michael Bay trying not to go to prison.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Yeah, Ninja Bill, exactly. They're people just like us. And of course, because there's been so many iterations of the franchise, like, people they're not always consistently the same. Like, RC's G1 version is very different from Prime RC, very different from Cyberverse RC. Cyberverse RC and I feel like Earthspark RC are pretty similar. Earthspark RC is a lot of fun.
I enjoyed Earthspark RC.
Has Transformers been like plagued by like the SpongeBob effect at all?
Huh?
SpongeBob effect.
It's been on for too long.
Like
Mm.
Teen Titans and all that.
Yeah.
Where it's
No,
Oh,
given
where
enough
they-
success and enough time on the air, the writers will come like run out of ideas.
Oh
and,
no!
like,
So
you can
that's
see the executive
beautiful thing.
hands. in it?
The Mega franchise has been on since the 80s, so it's like
Yeah.
40 years. But each series of Transformers, like where it's one group of writers writing one plot, that only lasts like 2 or 3 years, and then there's a couple years break, and then they do another one. And they don't they each each series has very much its own identity. Written by different people, focusing on different characters, having a different plot line. So Transformers, at least nowadays, tends to be much more serialized, where there is a through plot line throughout the entire show. So because of that, I feel like it doesn't get
Be back in a minute.
it doesn't get old or stale.
Well, I'm not just talking about that. It's like a lot of these cartoons that were like back in the 90s are now getting remade to look stupid and kiddish, and it's more about everything else but the like stupid plot lines, but what the original show was about originally.
Oh, well, I mean, Transformers was always it still is and always was a children's show.
Well, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about that, but I'm just saying it feels like they went for a gimmick instead of a show.
They didn't reduce, like, they didn't change the animation style to a more simple animation style, and they didn't, like, suddenly shift the tone.
Yeah, they haven't, like, I guess it sounds like other shows, like, they eventually start cutting costs in both animation and, like, writing. That hasn't happened with Transformers.
I mean,
In fact, the new show Earthspark, I feel like, is one of the most exciting and interesting ones that they've done in a minute. There's some really cool new ideas they're exploring there. All right, we should probably hunt something. Razor, you're still on your investigations?
I'm done. I'm trying to get my medicine back up. I'm out of medicine, so I'm trying to get some medicine back up
Gotcha.
real quick.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Mr. Major, we are on PC. If you look up in the top left, you should see the PC lobby code. Yeah, we're hunting. Ninja Bill says the main problem that the Transformers have had, aside from all the detractors for each series, is how much darker some series got. Is the series meant to be fun? They lost that for a long time. Yeah, so like I think Prime, like I loved Prime. It was when I came back into the franchise. There was a Netflix series that came out. We did like watch-alongs on this channel, Tom, I think, where they spent so much time being like dark and gritty, they forgot to make it like fun and interesting.
Yeah.
To the point where like we were watching that show, and I'm pretty sure I was watching it like 1.5 times speed just to get through it faster, because they were taking so like every character in that particular series, the War for Cybertron series, everything they said was so important that they felt they had the need to talk like this for every sentence. And at some point, you're like, fuck me, I've got things to do.
I got other shows to watch too.
Yeah.
I got monsters to hunt.
Yeah, hold my attention, but don't hold it hostage.
Yes, I like that actually.
Ugh. All right.
So,
All right, what are we hunting next?
I'm getting ready to post it here in a second.
Awesome. I'll go ahead and sit out this one if we've got 4 for it, so I can. I'll hang out with chat since we're talking T-formers. Although we can talk other stuff. What's everyone else watching right now? I guess. Oh fuck, Ninja Bill, you're here. We're talking Gundam.
Yeah.
Ninja Bill, we're gonna talk some Gundam.
Yeah, we fucking are.
Sounds good.
Tom,
Yeah.
Witch from Mercury.
Yeah.
What did you think?
This witch, you're telling me this witch is from Mercury?
Which, please?
Yeah. Oh, Witch from Mercury. More like, which way is this fucking show going? Because it's
Yeah.
amazing either way.
Well, I guess so. I watched the last 2 episodes of season 1, which just wrapped up, I think, like a week ago. I don't know if we want to do like spoiler warnings or if we want to not talk about spoilers.
Yes, we're gonna put out our spoiler warning, and we're gonna talk about everything because we've finished all 12 episodes at this point. The season 2 is coming out in April. Go watch it, but if you care about spoilers, go do something else right now.
I
Go
guess,
watch the
Nate,
show right now.
Are you watching it, Nate? I don't remember.
I plan to, but I don't care if it gets spoiled because like it's still gonna be dope as hell to watch. So whatever.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's fair. I think what happens in these episodes isn't really like super important, not until you eventually get around to it. But yeah, I mean, first things first, the fucking after credits episode of that last episode, holy fucking shit. I did not see that coming at all, and it's Pete Gundam, and it's
So good.
My God. Oh my fucking
It's
God.
so good.
My jaw was on the floor until that video file was fucking done, dude.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
So if you remember our previous talks, Tom and I, like, we've enjoyed the show the entire way through, but there were moments for me where I was like, it feels like they're trying to do both like the school standard like Gundam tournament shonen thing and kind of have these darker themes in the background. And I know at some point they're gonna stick the screwdriver in me and start like just turning it.
Yeah,
and
War is
they
bad,
did.
Cool Robot. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's so good. I think as of this moment, I like it more than Double Zero and Wing. I don't know, Tom, if
Fair. Yeah.
until you see the full thing, if you have a comparison to make against Iron Blooded Orphans yet, or if you're
I was
holding
gonna
off.
say, well, that's what I thought.
I finished it.
The moment that happens in that after credit sequence, I described to my roommate as being like all of IBO condensed into 5 seconds.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Because of what I mean, it's very IBO and what happens. But I don't know, IBO, I think because it's finished and because I really liked what that show was doing and how it showed like, hey, kids are not afraid to fucking literally kill like adults in front of each other. They're out for blood and out for rebellion. I thought it was really good. But I mean, so far I like what Witch is doing because I think like production quality wise, it's kind of in the same vein as Iron Blooded Orphans. Obviously the story is different and it has more of like the high school stuff going on, but like the surrounding world and like the seriousness of the pilot kind of makes it sort of still exist in this world where like, hey, like really bad shit is still going to happen, like regardless of what happens here.
And I know some fans, like we talked, like Paz, who is not here on stream right now, but he was saying like he wasn't sure about the high school stuff because he was like, I just want to get to like the good parts. But for me, like like having that like basically 10 episodes of like we had it was so well done where we had the preview, whatever you want to call it, the episode 0 to like set the tone of the franchise. And then episodes 1 through 10 were really good and interesting, and we got to meet characters, we got to fall in love with people, we got to, I mean, I fell in love with Suletta, like she's a sweet little marshmallow, and I really loved episode 10 where it's like her relationship with Mirione. I can never pronounce that name.
Mirin?
Mirin. Like where they're not afraid to like do that stuff. And because we did spend that much time in setup and we got Gundam fights in there and stuff, then when they hit us with episode 11 and then 12, like it was like a gut punch in the best way.
Yeah, I think the contrast of the Shonen high school stuff, for me it works really well. I think like a lot of people might have been put off because the prologue was headed in like the direction of the same like seriousness and tone as IBO. But I don't know, I think it works because like the fights that happen are still cool, like there's still action to it for people that are there just for the robots, but I think overall like it works pretty well. Like it's definitely like a kind of a weird tone because it's like high school vocational school where they're basically learning to become capitalists, but also like some of them are realizing like maybe we can actually use this for good. But those last few episodes just like reminded us like, hey, like there are still actors in this space that are trying to manipulate kids to do awful war crimes eventually.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what like Gundam has always been. I finished 8th MS Team a few months prior to this.
Oh, really?
Different tone of a show. Yeah.
Yes.
Different tone of a show, but like Gundam always has the same through line, and now they're trying to find different angles to come at it from. And I think this one works really well because it brings in a new audience of people who are more used to you know, the shonen level stuff, but also saying like, yeah, but here's how Gundam does it.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, just that. Ugh, that last episode was good. I mean, even up to that point, the giant laser beam
Yeah.
fucking thing that Soletta gets off was awesome. That was really cool.
Yeah.
It was more of how the system works, but man, woof. The memes I have seen about tomatoes
Oh yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
just sent me. It's so good.
Yeah. Ninja Bill. Okay, so yeah, the Leos. They're not hiding. They're just that's where I keep my Leos right now. I've got a set of 3 of them.
Ninja Bill is not a fan of IBO.
Yeah. I think I sit more in the middle between Tom and Ninja Bill and in IBO. I liked it, but it's not my favorite of the Gundam series. But the Leos, next soon my Transformers reviews are going to be in 4K, because I learned that that is a setting on the camera I use to record. So
Way to go.
yeah. So when that happens, like it's not just like the view field gets larger, so you'll see the Leos more often, just kind of hanging out over to the side. I got 3 of them. I'm gonna be building more because I did the last 2 weeks of 2022. I spent like every day putting out a video so I could burn through all my backlog. I'm down to toys that are still in boxes, 1, 2, 3. And then the Metasaur. So that's 5, but I'll figure out, I'll probably do that as 1. And then at that point, my goal is to start doing some Gundam build videos. Finn and Poe.
I've watched Andor.
Yes.
Abby and I just finished it.
I haven't, but I
couple
hear
weeks ago.
great things about
It's
it.
really good. I would say
Sounds like my perfect idea of Star Wars.
the
kind of
first
style.
episode or 2 is a little on the slow side. But they're just like bringing all the actors and like together.
Quest
really
is
what it
open
is.
finally.
Yay!
All right.
I got bored
Pile
with
in.
Andor.
Yeah.
Also,
Um,
I'm a magic fan, so like I like my space magic.
Excuse me.
So Andor
only
has
be
no space
sci-fi.
magic?
Only be not really. No.
Damn, I might have to check Andor out.
Yeah,
Who's
it's
the,
like
who's the join in.
who's all in his quests.
Is it supposed to be
Reese and
before or
Osprey.
after?
No, I'm just
Rogue One.
watching.
Before
more
Rogue
than 4
One.
of us, so
It's pretty much like the first season's all about how he gets involved.
If it was after Rogue One, it's just 10 episodes of his like
Just a smoldering corpse.
skeleton.
Yeah, I think that's part of why I didn't get as into it. Is I'm like, I already know what happens to this character. It's really hard for me to get invested in this character when I know the fate of this character.
Did
Later
you
on.
ever
I've
watch
heard-
the 3 prequels?
Yeah, I had the same
Well, you
problem.
knew what was going to happen to all those guys. Yeah.
I had the same
And
problem.
because of that, they sucked, Nate. Well, they sucked for a lot of other reasons also.
But yeah, like
but
that.
Oh, go ahead.
That was literally one thing I did not like about the prequels was I already know what happens to these characters, therefore I found it harder to care in the same way that I would if I didn't.
yeah, like prequel stuff is like you already know what happens unless they drastically change it for some reason. So
And like if
Yeah.
there's a little bit of removal, it's easier. But when it's straight up, oh well, I know that this guy's gonna turn evil, so, or I know that this person's gonna be dead.
Yeah. Ooh, Velzard's posted a quest. All right, let's see what's up.
Velzard sounds like such an online RPG name.
Oh, it's an event quest. Can I even do
Like
this one?
Pokemon. I like it.
Ooh, Frostfang Barioth. All right.
so
I've not seen War in the Pocket yet, but yeah, I like 8th MS. It was good.
Bandit Flower. What are the Bandit Flower
The
mini
Vocal of
movies?
Painted Flower is.
Yeah, Ninja Bill, I'm not familiar with that one. Rathlarosa agrees with you, Osprey. Same problem with The Hobbit, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
Again, those films had other problems besides being prequels. But yes, sometimes it works in the favor, but it's generally the result of something else. For example, the House of Dragons, I feel, is a better series than Game of Thrones. But that's because what we learned is that for whatever reason, George R. R. Martin chose the boring time period to write a story about in his series. I don't get that one. Here's all these families and they're all mad at each other. Okay, sure. Here's
There used to be
families-
It's
dragons,
more
but they're
about
not
the
around anymore.
political
yeah,
side.
there used to be dragons and magic and all this shit, and it's like,
I
oh
view
wait,
both series as like HBO popcorn. Like I started getting into Game of Thrones stuff because I was like, I don't care about any of these people, so I like watching them just fuck each other over. I have no vested interest. It's like watching like what I imagine getting into wrestling for the first time must be like. I don't watch it, but it's just like, oh, people are fucking each other up. All right, yeah, I'll watch more of this.
as a neutral, yeah, I feel you
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Bandit Flower. Okay, well we'll have to check it out.
So it's Thunderbolt stuff, I guess. I have not seen 3.
Oh, I do like Thunderbolt. Ninja Bill, I am a big
Yeah.
fan of Thunderbolt. I specifically like 2 things. One, I love that our protagonists are like sociopaths. That hits me right here. What the other
Right
thing?
in the sympathies. Right. in
Yeah,
the,
right,
in
right.
The empathies.
Right, in the empathy that I lack.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I really like about Thunderbolt is they took the like classic mechs and they redesigned them to just have more like safety handholds and be more OSHA compliant. And I love that like the Gundams and the mechs in that, like in Thunderbolt specifically, like all of them have like handrails where you need to have handrails if you're going to do maintenance on a Gundam suit. And I really, really, really like the gun cannon and the gun tank in Thunderbolt. Because like Tom, you watched the original series.
Yeah, I watched those. I've seen
They-
People and G Fighter, whatever.
Yeah, they redesigned like those things, so it's like kind of an alternate universe, but it's just it's the original series, but like I don't super think it's canon. Kind of, it's weird, but like they just like pretend, they kind of hand wave and said like, oh yeah, while the gun tank is out there, also we have this gun tank, and it looks a lot cooler.
Yeah, Thunderbolt, 00, and X are my next 3 to watch, besides
Ooh, nice.
Horror in the Pocket, and probably Stardust, and all the UC shit eventually.
I read Thunderbolt for a while, but I need to catch up. I fell off that manga. I'd love for them to finish it out. Wait, we're not hunting Anjanath.
We're hunting Burial or Gladness.
You all are. I'm with Velzard out here.
That's right.
Henderson says, okay, Game of Thrones opinion is acceptable. What about House of the Dragons? Oh, you already answered.
Yeah, House of the Dragon was like fine. So fantasy stuff I have a hard time like getting invested in because I feel like I've just seen a lot of it. Like I kind of get the archetypes, but like
Oversaturated.
Yeah, House of the Dragon was something I watched like every Sunday with a friend as it came out, and like it was good. I liked it. It was something like if you asked me to describe like the major plot beats, I couldn't tell you other than like some factions split off and there's the seafaring people. I would remember more than this, but like it was a fun show. Like I really like how they do like reveals and how they do big plot backstabs and stuff, but it wasn't something that I was like 100% like a huge fan of. It was like, yeah, it's very entertaining and I recommend it the same way I would Game of Thrones. I think this one did a better job with like the politics stuff because of the scale.
Yes.
And the viewfinder there was so much smaller, but I feel the same way about that as I do for other fantasy stuff. Like I have to like really sit with it, whereas something like The Expanse can grab you pretty quickly. I think just because of the setting. But House of Dragon is good. I would recommend it. I think it's a fun watch.
Yeah, I like House of the Dragons more than Game of Thrones. My biggest problem with House of the Dragons, and it's not a normal person problem, up until like episode 4 or something, I struggled. I kept thinking a couple different characters were the same person, and I was really confused by their like.
Same, and I see that in Elden Ring because Martin had his hand in that too, where there's like 5 names that all
Margoth and Morgoth and Margot.
Margit,
Margit.
the Black
Yeah.
Robe.
Margarita.
Yeah.
So like we were watching House of the Dragons, I was like, why are they pronouncing that person's name funny? Like, why are half of them? Oh,
Yeah,
they're not the same person. One of them's missing an eye. Okay.
I'm torn
Okay.
because like it works because a lot of people in history do name their children after like previously existing people in like the family hierarchy. I think the hard part is just I don't know that there's a good way to translate that to television in a way that's not like here's like a PDF primer on who everybody is. Like when they were talking about like one kid's name versus another, even if they're not named after the same person, the names are so similar. And like I like it because it works like on the language barrier. Like a lot of names in English especially are like based on like the same names of other people, slightly different in syllables, but like it's just really hard to keep that straight unless you are like watching it with like a laser focus, at least.
Yes. And in fact, I think like we were talking about D&D earlier, I feel like that's a trap that the Forgotten Realms D&D books can fall into in their naming schemes. They're like trying to go for a certain feel in these names, and they should just be more like a little more utilitarian about like it's okay to have someone named Thomas because we all know the name Thomas, and like it doesn't need to be fucking our Beatrice could have had an easier to pronounce name.
I will say, because this is kind of an area of interest for me, I feel like if you're gonna build something that you want lots of people to be able to get something out of for names, like for tabletop RPGs, I feel like coming up with a lexicon of names for people to pull from to name their characters is gonna help
Yes.
a lot. Which I wish they had done with D&Ds. I wish they had like, here's like a dictionary of words, here's how they tend to typically combine them together, so you can have a name that sounds appropriate for your character, or even here's also like, here are what sounds tend to be in their language. Knock
Yes.
yourself out.
Yeah. They didn't do exactly that, but that's one of the nice things about Radiant Citadel. So there are these, I think it's 15 civilizations that the Radiant Citadel is in touch with, and each one is based off of a real-world culture written by the author is someone from that culture. So like Tanner's running it, and I'm gonna play an Eladrin paladin who is from the Iranian analog that Justice Armand was the author for the that Persian section of the book. And for all the different sections, they did include like a little primer on like names, and like it's based off of this culture, so if you're looking for like inspiration, like here's where you can go for more. I like that a lot.
Oh yeah.
And I like that the cultures are not necessarily like racially homogenous. So like you can be an Iranian like Eladrin or an Iranian orc. Like you're not. It almost the thing they didn't do that I would have appreciated is if they replaced, instead of like common and orcish and elvish and all that, in the Radiant Citadel they were like, well, each of these cultures has a language, and you pick from that kind of thing. See you, Ninja Bill.
Oh, see ya.
There we go.
I like how Ninja Bill left with saying Sig Zeon. Woof.
Jesus. Well,
What?
now we know something about Ninja Bill.
Yeah.
And what is
They're the Nazi analog in Gundam,
Yeah.
Oh,
but they also have the coolest suits.
well,
They
that's
do.
unfortunate.
I guess that's the nice thing about right now in Witch from Mercury. There, you don't have to worry about wearaboos because there's not really a Nazi analog. What would be like if someone was like, oh, I really identify with this group of people in Witch from Mercury? You're like, oh fuck. I guess like corporate bootlickers.
So some of the corporations, like the Pell, whatever, the ones that who have the clone kid, they just keep making clones up. I guess it's like kind of a weird like eugenics-ish.
Yeah, I can't wait for that to like reach its zenith in season 2.
Yeah, the thing. So something else I really like about Witcher Mercury is the way that they do the corporations, where like sometimes like the people you're rooting for get help from the questionable corporations, where it's like, oh well, they are helping us, but it's like, yeah, but they also like they're cloning people and using them for permit score shit. Like it's not. There's no like one big evil Xeon faction. Even Xeon in UC does get like a lot of, hey, they're still human beings. Like they have feelings and shit. And I think 8th MS Team does a good job of that. But like the Witcher Mercury has done a really good job of showing like there's a lot of like smaller groups in this, and they all do questionable shit. And no one is good here. But at the same time, you know, how much of an alliance are you willing to have before you decide that morality has to kick in and say maybe we shouldn't do this?
Yeah, it definitely sticks to the strong Gundam theme, which is when war happens, it is a failure in and of itself.
Yes, yeah. God, I can't. I just love that reveal in those last 2 minutes, man. I thought about that all weekend. Like, jeez.
So, I have a question about Gundam.
Yes.
So you mentioned there's a Nazi analog. Do they do
In
them?
most iterations.
Do they do
Not
them
all of them.
kind of like Boogeyman's or Boogeyman the blah 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 words? Sorry. Do they do them like Monster Under the Bed style? Do they do them like everybody just knows they're completely evil? Or do they tend to do like, hey, it is actually possible for people to develop these dangerous ideologies?
The second one.
Okay.
They are the antagonistic force in the Gundam storyline, in the original Mobile Suit Gundam storyline. But you see how larger system, like essentially they came to power. Xeon, this group, came to power because larger systemic failures and injustices were not met, so people were unhappy. So some people got like, you know, bamboozled or had sympathies like with this group and were able to get them into a place of power that they yeah, it's definitely, and they're not really a Nazi analog. Oh shit, what happened?
They have Nazi themes, sort of, in
Like
the sense
visually
of like
a little
Xeon.
bit. Yeah.
It's really, politically, they're more like an imperialist Japan analog, which makes a lot of sense when you know, like the writer's personal history with World War II. But visually, they're like Aryans. They're Nazis.
Okay.
There's no, I don't think they have any, at least in original Mobile Suit Gundam, which is a kid's cartoon, they don't have any like strictly like racial or discriminatory practices.
You wouldn't consider the Spacian versus Earthian thing?
Okay, no, yeah. So in that regard, but not like not a literal like. There's no Holocaust analog really, but there is. I mean, the opening act is them crashing what side, 7 or 6 or whatever. They crash a satellite into Earth and they wipe out half the population. That's kind of like the most like extremist that it gets, and then I think after that it's more of like, yeah, they're willing to do some stuff like kill innocent, but it's not targeted at like marginal. Not that
They're trying to wipe out life on planet Earth
yes,
rather than target a specific group of people.
yeah, they're more political than they are like in some sort of like religious zealotous fashion, I guess.
I mean, but yeah, so part of why I was curious is because one of my big pet peeves is, I find that too often we make Nazis out to be kind of the ideological equivalent of, like, the monster under the bed, and we don't actually understand that it is very possible for people to develop that ideology even now, even despite some of the, like, we kind of feel like it's always the kind of the cartoon villain sort of thing, and then this is actually ideologies that people do choose to develop and do like a level of hate that people do choose to have, and kind of how that comes about. So I was really curious about that.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, hello, how are you today? Xeon, after dropping 2 colonies on Earth, are we the baddies? Yeah. Yeah, so I think we've said this before that the writers of Gundam do not believe necessarily in like strong subtext. Everything's pretty on the nose, surface level, but they for a franchise that has evolved to a point where its primary purpose of existing is to sell model kits, it is surprisingly pointed in its anti-war and anti-war statement and statement about the susceptibility that societal systems have to being influenced by powerful groups. Every series, no matter what, like even Witch for Mercury, in this case they're not Nazis, they're corporations, but Witch for Mercury is a strong like anti-corporation like standpoint where it's like all they care about is making money. They are not going to do the right thing if it gets in the way of making money, kind of thing. Guns Pony, it's like how serial killers are considered monsters versus people with opportunity. Yeah, like I think I get what you're saying. Like you're agreeing with Osprey that yes, anyone can do devastating evil things. If it's not like we shouldn't like we should hate and fight Nazis, but we should acknowledge that they are still people. That doesn't make them any less shitty to say that.
Yeah,
that's the case.
It's like not othering them because that makes it easy to be like, well, that person's not like a monster.
It could never be me.
Yeah, or it could never be the person I know because they're too nice. They might be nice to you, but they might have terrible ideologies that are hateful towards certain groups. And yeah, no, I don't blame you for finding that absolutely terrifying. It has been awful.
Henderson. Is that what you were saying?
That's what I was. Because over the last few years, fascism in the U.S. has been
absolutely
rampant.
Yeah.
It's always been there. It's just now it surfaces itself. As
Yeah.
something else.
It's gotten to be more out in the open more easily and readily over the last few years.
Finn and Poe. Well, that's normal Cameron, not half.
Cameron just seemed to like order. Is Cameron the baddie?
Yeah.
He wasn't too bad once you got rid of the tape.
Yeah. Listen, you gotta have your general patents.
I mean,
I can't escape this guy.
With the context of what we've been talking about, no, Cameron is not a bad person. Cameron has actually been like super awesome, and like I'm gonna inflate Cameron's ego a little bit here, but
well, he's been nice to
don't do
you,
it.
but think about all the other think about all the different demographics of people he does hate.
Like no,
That's what we've been saying.
on a serious note, Cameron has been has put forth a lot of effort to learn a lot about the trans community and LGBTQ in general, and that has been really good to see.
Yeah. He's
well,
all right.
thank you.
Yeah, it is good. Trans rights, everybody.
Trans rights.
Yeah, on this Martin Luther King Day especially, if you can, get locally involved where you can, because people be shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
And good people and innocent people need help where they can get it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I did want to go off on that tangent a little bit of when we're talking about like Nazis and stuff like that, none of as far as I know, none of us are like in that category. And that's a very good thing. We are not the baddies. We do
Have you
not
been
want
reading
to
my
be.
journal?
I from to echo Osprey's serious note, one thing that we want about our Discord community in particular is We've fucking kicked people out because they've been shitty. Like,
Yeah, no,
We-
none of that shit around here.
I welcome like frank conversation, but I have no desire to create a place where people think that human rights are not
So,
something
yeah,
that is up
it's just
for
okay
debate.
to come spouting in that shit here. No,
Yeah.
no.
We're.
Oh, did you all finish the hunt?
Yeah,
Yep.
we're good.
Did you? Yeah, you did. Yeah.
I think I got
Shit,
like,
I didn't
one
realize
more in
Razor
me.
is already on Glavenus. Yeah. What's next?
good question.
Acidic glass.
That's
I got
almost
Ever
caught up.
Present Shadow is the next one I gotta do.
No Gaku.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is there a Narg variant in this one? I don't remember.
No. Just regular.
Right.
Just regular Narg.
So okay, so ever-present shadow. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think just 9 more assigned quests, and then you're all caught up, Razor. So I'm assuming.
Just 9?
Well,
Just 9.
at the rate he's been going, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just need to get a better gear now because that guy was hurting me.
You got hit a few times.
Yeah, we can spend some time off stream doing a little bit of that gear grind.
Yeah,
Lord,
and it's
I'm-
just learning the moves too because I was dodging it, but that tail was kicking my ass.
Yeah, that tail can be pretty brutal.
Yep.
Because I'm like, oh, I'm way out of range, and all of a sudden it comes and slings it over at you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah,
this
his
one doesn't
ultimate
even
moves
need to
where
wait
he,
for a
like,
cut
spins
speed.
at
It's
you.
open.
Oh,
Mhm.
sweet.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's open to join right now. Let me eat.
Let's join.
Sorry, I'm just
Pilot.
seeing if I got a better axe real quick.
Yeah, all good.
Switch X gang, let's go.
Oh, anybody
One
else
more.
here watch Owl House?
I hear
Yes.
good things, but I have not
I
watched.
realized I'm not caught up. I think you said the second half of season 2 came out, and I haven't watched
Or-
that yet.
No, so there's season 1, season 2, and then there's like one. I need to see if the second episode of season 3 is up. I think season 3 only gets 3 episodes though.
Yeah,
Because
the
they got
last
canceled.
thing I saw, the very last thing I saw was Lou's seeing her mom and talking to her
Mm.
mom.
Ooh, oh, that.
So I think I'm like a little behind.
Yeah, go catch up.
Will do.
Alright, Velzard's our 4th.
I do really so like I've mentioned before, magic is kind of like one of my favorite things in stories. I just really like magic, especially if it's a well done magic system. So like the entire
So
series
you're a fan
is-
of like a hard magic system or a soft one? Or does
Uh,
it depend, I guess?
depends on the system. If it's well done, I like either one.
Yeah, Owl House I wouldn't consider a hard magic system. Would you?
Wait, was I supposed to share that potions or are those all mine?
Yeah, typically
Supposed to
there's
share
one for
those.
each-
Sorry.
Eh,
I thought it was like a specific supply box. I didn't know it was.
Yeah,
It's a
Ah,
rookie
all
move.
communal.
If you take all the potions, you don't say shit, and then the next person that opens the box up, they get blamed for it all.
No, but at least Razor said something. If I will say I'm petty about it. If I join like a rando group in Rise and everything is gone, I will not use Dust of Life or whatever. I will not be like, nah, you fucked up. You did.
I
this."
love it.
Yeah, like if they're like I think at one point I accidentally grabbed like 2 one time when I was doing Rise or something, but that was because I had a delay, so it didn't show that it actually took. So I thought, oh, somebody
I
else
just got
grabbed it.
used to solo hunting, so I just went in there and spam clicked, and I was like, oh shit, there's a lot more in here than I was thinking.
All right, I got turned around.
Oh, this is a first hunt, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the tracks for it.
But yeah, Cheryl, Owl House is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I feel like Disney animation has been on kind of a roll recently.
But then they
For
canceled
I
it.
guess for a while now. Yeah, Disney corporate's going to be just as shitty as they always are, unfortunately. Hopefully, one day the demographics of their executive leadership change, so we don't have old conservative dudes wondering why the show is gay.
Yeah.
YouTube is asking what AR is everyone. I think that's anomaly rank. I don't know what mine is.
No
Like
clue.
30.
I think I broke 160 over the weekend. Now, since we're
I have
playing a lot
no
of
idea.
Iceborne, I really only play Monster Hunter if I'm like on the bus or if I'm in a situation where I'm like in traveling and not being the driver. So I don't
Did you
play
guys
a
find it
ton.
or something?
I see trails.
Yeah, I see it on the mini map now, so I'm chasing after it.
Yeah. I haven't been playing Rise a whole lot just because I've been distracted with life and Pokemon. A tiny bit of
It
Hades.
takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have not seen the new Velma show, Wrath of Rosa. I've never really done anything with Scooby-Doo, so I never really
I
thought
do
about
not
I-
understand everyone's super like
I
fascination
haven't-
with Scooby Doo.
But apparently, it is getting absolutely dunked on online.
Yes.
And the two clips of it I've seen, it seems like it's pretty well deserved.
So, if we're talking about good cartoons and people are interested in Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., which came out, I believe, in like 2012 or so. That one, you know what?
I've heard that one's good. I'm not like a
It's
big
very good.
Scooby-Doo fan, but
I
like,
can't remember
the few
which
clips I've
one's
seen-
which at this point. It's all Scooby Doo.
There's like a bunch. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I've never kept
Scooby-Doo
up.
Mystery Incorporated came out in 2010. It ran until 2013. It had two seasons, 52 episodes total. Very serialized. It's essentially each episode had their own mystery, but it was all leading up to a major mystery, and it was a lot of fun. Really good, like fun mystery content. It was essentially the Lost show done by someone more competent than J.J. Abrams, starring the Scooby-Doo cast.
That's
It was
not
really
hard
good.
to do.
Everything I've heard about this Velma show
Jeez, who
sounds
just did
like-
that? Oh, it was the other creature.
It just sounds boring and tired. I didn't know this until recently, but I guess fucking what's her name, Mindy Kaling, the girl from The Office,
yeah.
and the producer and the showrunner for this show, for the Velma show. She's
Yeah.
like a TERF.
Oh,
Really?
So so fuck her.
Fuck
But
off.
also,
I
like,
didn't know that.
she's hangs out with a super like conservative group, but she's not white. So this show, from everything I've understood, no one likes this show because the politics of the show are fundamentally reactionary, and I wouldn't enjoy it because it's gonna be a bunch of dumb horseshit, and then it's like Velma is Indian and Shaggy is black. So, like, the reactionaries that Mindy Kaling is courting don't like it because they took a show with an all-white cast and made it more diverse. So I'm like, who's your target audience for this shit show?
She's alienated both sides. And like the bit I've seen, it's not even like
Funny?
At least the newer executions of like the Scooby-Doo stuff. The few clips I've seen is like, oh, it's actually like pretty funny, and like they still like have the same personalities. But I watched a little bit, and like it has nothing to do with Scooby-Doo at all. Like you watch 3 episodes of the original show, and it's like, oh, I get it. Everyone is like, they've got their own thing going on, and then I watched a little bit, and I'm like, oh, this is terrible. This is like, for all those like the new cartoons are doing Gates, like Big Mouth and all that awful stuff. This is one of those shows that she's trying so hard, and she has literally no audience to go off of now. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it feels like so I've heard really good things about the Harley Quinn show, which I haven't checked out yet. But it feels like they're trying to do that again. But no one understands the parts of Scooby-Doo that people like. So it's just like we're going to make it the opposite of what it is, but with no sort of critical thought or interesting perspective or insight. Honestly, Mystery Incorporated from 2010, to me, does a better job of what the Velma show is trying to do, which is take Scooby-Doo and kind of turn it on its head, than Velma does. Again, I'm gonna say, if you've got an ability to watch Mystery Incorporated, go check it out. It's a lot of fun. It plays with the tropes of Scooby-Doo in a very fun, interesting way.
Yeah, I think I remember that now.
Mindy Kaling, yeah, and also what we were talking about, being hot inanimate objects. Freddy in Mr. Incorporated is a trapophile. He is sexually attracted to
He wants to go to the
traps.
trap museum.
Yeah. Like elaborate ways to capture people. That is all he cares about.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Very cute.
So I was
Yeah.
very confused at first because we were talking about turfs, so my brain was in a different spot,
No,
and I was
sorry,
like,
yes, that's
oh.
also no.
Like,
No. Literally, the I'm trying to think of another word for it. Is there another word for
well,
a
no,
trap?
it's funny that you say that because that's exactly the kind of shit I would expect her to put in the show. As like,
Yeah.
It's tongue in cheek, guys. You wouldn't understand it.
Yeah. I was like, it took me a moment to parse where things were going with that. So that's
Yeah.
why I was like, and then
Yeah.
once
Yeah, so like Daphne and Freddy are dating at the beginning of Mystery Incorporated, the show, and then they break up like halfway through season 1 because he is so busy and focused on just designing more and more elaborate traps that he doesn't have time for her. It's really
Okay.
funny.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was in the Velma show. Okay.
No.
This is the Mystery Inc. show from like
Yeah.
2012,
Yeah.
13.
I just, because we had been talking about a turf, and then I heard
Totally makes sense.
trapophile, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that sounds sketch.
Yeah, Henderson. Mindy Kaling likes JKR's tweets about trans folks, used slurs in her book, and allegedly mocked the Me Too movement in the show. Yeah, like,
Wow.
yeah. I don't have time for... It feels like when... Like, right, there's not all comedians, but there's a subset of comedians that are always like, I should be allowed to say whatever I want because I'm a comedian. And it's like, you can, no one's stopping you, but you're also not funny.
Yeah.
So,
Oh. Yeah, like, some people are like early on I had some people be like, oh, when was J.K. Rowling transphobic? And I was like, okay, I found out in part because she literally wrote an article talking about how trans women are evil and trans men are just confused little girls. So, like, she literally put documentation. Oh, I'm actually mounted.
yeah, and I, like...
I've never done that
from my
before.
in this game, yeah, every time I mount in Iceborne and World, I have a moment of panic where I'm like, oh fuck, how does it
I
work
always
in this game?
forget, Yeah.
And I think there's 2 ways to mount in Iceborne, right? There's like the
Yeah,
regular
you can
mounting
clutch
from
claw,
World.
you can clutch
Yeah.
claw yourself, and if you have a heavy weapon, you'll tenderize that area in one go. But if you do the same thing, if you have a light weapon, you do it twice in the same area.
It had me
I'll-
mashing Y, and then it had me do
Sure.
demon mode mashing Y.
Awesome.
Yeah, with the switchblade, you do a discharge into it after a bunch of hits. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, to like the J.K. Rowling stuff, I was blissfully unaware. I remember my younger cousins and my younger brother, Kayvon, who I think he's been on the channel once or twice before.
Yeah, we did a Sonic series.
They were telling me about the stuff, and he was telling me about she wrote a mystery book under someone else's name, and the name that she used is like a famous anti-trans person, the pseudonym she used, and also she made the killer at the end like a trans person. And at the time, I remember, I mean, this was 5 or 6 years ago. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe people are blowing things out of proportion. But I was absolutely wrong.
Yeah, it's... And, I hadn't fully read, the books until I was older, so I missed a lot of the subtle, like, and not so subtle stuff. Like, I missed a lot of, stuff until I actually got the chance to read her books as an adult. And now that I've read them as an adult, I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of gross stuff with how she presented things in here. So you know what? I'm just on top of the transphobia.
I am enjoying reading that. Razor Beast, did you end up starting to read A Memory Called Empire?
Yes and no. I just now got through the prologue. That's how long I've been taking to read it.
Gotcha. I'm going slow through. Hannah's still waiting on her copy of the book. But the
I have a hard
premise
time
is
getting
still really
into a
interesting.
book sometimes.
Yeah. I the premise is like I haven't gotten very far into it, but the premise I like a lot. Which I guess I'm going to use this opportunity to plug Hannah's book club.
Yeah.
I believe we have our next meeting scheduled. Let me look at this calendar. Between the Covers Book Club, Saturday, February 4th at 10 a.m.
That one wasn't too hard of a hunt.
Yeah. I think that was the last one for me tonight, though.
Sure. Yeah, we've been streaming for like an hour and a half. It's 8 hours now, or it's 8 o'clock now.
Yeah, that's fine.
A Memory Called Empire. It's a story about an interstellar empire and essentially the fall of it. Like you're reading through the fall of this interstellar empire by Arkady Martine, and I'm enjoying it so far.
Nice.
So if you were looking, if anyone's made the New Year's resolution to try and read a little more, come join Hannah's book club. It'll be an opportunity to get some motivation and some group activity in that regard.
Yeah, I'm actually planning on reading through Redwall books again.
Yeah,
Nice.
Abby and I
So
were
we were
just
talking about that.
Redwall
Yeah.
books.
Yeah, Brian Jacques, right?
Yep.
I think so.
Yeah, he writes a pretty good book. I don't know that I've read anything of his aside from Redwall. He passed away, I think, 10 years ago now.
I want to say so. I don't think I know any of his books beyond Redwall, actually. Like, I think I only know him as the author of Redwall. There's 22 in that series.
There's like, how many?
22.
22. Yeah.
I don't know if he had time to write much else,
Yeah.
depending on when he started. So,
But awesome. We made some more good progress.
yeah.
It was nice to hang out and talk about Gundam.
Yeah, I had fun hanging out with y'all, and I'll probably be back on next Monday, ready to go.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
I'll
And-
have an update about the appointment with the occupational health, see what they say about me staying on my foot for like 5 hours at a time with a sprained ankle.
It's not
Yeah,
great.
hopefully you're able to get off that thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And check us out tomorrow. Danny is doing, I think he's going to be staining the piece that he worked on last week, which is actually a piece for Nate as a gift to someone else. Danny did wood cutting for Kona the dog, and then I think he's staining her tomorrow. And then Wednesday, Nate, is more Elden Ring time.
That is the plan.
And you just beat Morgott, right? Or are you further than that?
Oh
now?
no, I'm pretty far. I beat Morgott a while ago.
You've done it. You've done this all by your. Yeah. You've done this all on your own.
Yeah.
Pretty
No,
much. As much as I try to get you to use Ash summons.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, sweet.
So that was fun.
Yeah,
Alright.
so check us out for the rest of the week. And, you're all already probably on the Discord, so keep you updated there.
All right, guys.
Alright. See you next time.